Hi, friends. Welcome to the Mastermind Moments podcast.
Hosted by your pals, Josh and Sasha.
Join us during our weekly mastermind as we collaborate on how to make the most out of our lives.
Not only are we going to mastermind our careers, we're going to work on all areas of life together.
Let's do it. Listen in as we make the most of our mastermind moments.
Hello. How's it going?
Hey. Yeah, good. I am honestly pretty exhausted. I feel I just woke up like 10 minutes ago. So I probably just need a bit of adjusting. But yeah, how are you doing?
I'm amazing. I love how you're just like, rolling out of bed, gonna record real quick, and then just
Just crack on with my day.
yeah, you know what? What a great way to start the day.
Exactly. That's the way I see it. But what better way to start the day?
Right, exactly. Okay, before we get into it, let's spin a wheel. Okay. Physical health. What are some healthy habits you've developed that you'd recommend to others? Thoughts?
My healthy habits have this year completely dictated the way that I live.
Okay.
It's changed me as a person. It's changed my mental health. It's changed my physical health. And it's funny you should say that because I literally, just before coming on, while I was waiting for you to send the link, I updated my habits list for this week and I've got it right here. So I will tell you my
Okay.
core habits, my core healthy habits, meditation every single day. And I don't think I've missed a day of meditation since January. Since like mid-January, I've done it every single day. Some days for 3 minutes, some days for 25 minutes. But it's been so important to me to just ground myself when I wake up, to start my day. And I've never felt more spiritually aligned as a result. So meditation, absolutely essential. Exercise, again, I've barely missed a day since January, since I started doing this habit tracker. Exercise has been incredible for me. I've been, again, just move my body in some way, shape, or form every single day. Some days I'm like, I really don't want to do it, or I don't have the time to do it. And I will literally, like a couple of days ago, I went for a 7 minute run, because A, it's too hot here to be running right now. It's so fucking hot. But I was like, as long as I'm sweating, I'm raising my heart rate, I'm heavy breathing, and I've done something for that day. Bare minimum is better than nothing.
Yeah.
And then reading, I've been reading every single day, which has been really, really good for me. I completed my fifth book 2 days ago.
Oh my God.
You know,
Look
one
at
of my,
you.
I know, right? Last year, I think the only book that I read start to finish was Matt's book
Yeah.
from Yes
Talk to
Theory, the one you
Stranger.
got me.
Yeah.
Um, so I think that was last year or maybe the year before last, but I'm not a big reader. And this year I went into the year, as we discussed at the start of the year, with a goal of reading 12 books. And yeah, I've read five already. I've already started my sixth. I'm already a chunk into it after a couple of days. But I just think reading is so important, A, for knowledge, but just to expand your mind, expand your vocabulary, expand the way you think. And I've also, those books that I've read have been a mix of fiction and non-fiction. And in the past, I was only reading non-fiction. I was only reading biographies and inspirational stuff. But now it's been a mix. So I've got other things that I do, but those have been the absolute core of where I am this year. Honestly, like I think about it and the place that I'm in, I think I started the year even 6 months ago going, I'm in a good place, but I'm very fragile. Like at any time, things could tip, things could turn. Now, I feel so solid. I honestly put it down to this core of habits that I've been building over the last, I guess, 4 months now.
So would you say it's just the three? Is it just meditation, movement, reading? Or are there other? What are the others that we're looking at?
Meditation, movement, reading have been the absolute, I think, core. I mean, on my habit tracker, for example, this week I've got posts, a reel, and that's been there since January as well. I think that's given me discipline. It's given me a work ethic that I didn't have before. And this week I've also got 7,500 steps every day, which usually in the UK would be 10,000, but again, it's so fucking hot here. India is not walkable at all, as I'm sure you experienced when you were in Southeast Asia. It is just not walkable. So it's hard to get 10,000. It's hard to get 7,500. I'm doing most of those around my bedroom. Like literally, I'm coupling up reading and recording my reel with just walking around my bedroom. So I'll read like 20 pages, like 30 minutes, and I just walk, just pace around. Because it's genuinely, it's so hot that like you just can't walk around.
That is
You
so
get hit by a
funny.
car.
I love that you're
You
just
get hit.
taking walking breaks from your
Yeah.
reading. Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, I'm just moving my body. I'm making sure as well, because I'm eating a lot here and eating a lot of very carby foods. And I'm exercising every day, but I think steps are just as important as rigorous exercise to actually burning calories and stuff. So yeah, my steps has been really important as well. And I've generally adhered to at least 10,000 steps over the last few months, but at the moment it's 7,500. Last week it was 6,000 because again I was traveling and it was a bit more difficult to get those steps in.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are the core pillars I would say that have really kept me disciplined, kept me in shape mentally and physically. And yeah, I love that question actually. That's the question that I'm living for right now. I'm very passionate about my habit.
I love that how much you love your habit tracker. I love it.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, 100%. I think mine are the meditation. I haven't been sitting down to meditate, but I feel like some of the movement I've been doing has felt meditative. Like I'd say movement, number one, is a absolute must right now that is feeling so good. And for me, it's looked like an hour and a half bike ride every day for the last, what, 10 days and then or 2 weeks maybe. And then before that, it was like I was going to a workout class every day. And the movement every day has been feeling so good. But I find that the bike ride, because it's an hour and a half, it feels really meditative for me. Like I'm in there and yes, I'm listening to music, but like my mind is just like going. I get to just, it's not that it's a conscious thing, but it's like really, it feels very meditative because it's also like a repetitive motion. So I haven't been sitting down to like meditate every day, but also like in like yoga classes and stuff, I find that I'm just not, but that's something that I'm trying out an app right now, like a meditation app. So I would like have those 30-day trials. So trying that out. So meditation is definitely the one. Movement has for sure been like top, top, top. I'd say for me, like it's physical health, but in also I'd say a physical health habit that I've had that I found really helpful as far as like eating wise. Right now I'm doing all my grocery shopping at the farmer's market, which is like so wholesome. Can you like please? I'm going to the fucking farmer's market to get my groceries for the week. Like it's just so local and so good. But if I'm at the grocery store, the habit of reading the labels has definitely changed my health and the way I think about what I put in my body because I'm like reading everything and I'm like, oh my God, what is that? What is that ingredient that I'm putting in my body? So I found that to be a habit that like just that quick little extra couple seconds to look at the label of something, you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize like that's I had no idea. I'm trying
And
to think
that is
other.
genuinely a habit that you have to get into. Like for me, I used to be like that. I think when I was on my health kick last year, every single thing I ate, I was reading the label. Every single thing I ate, if there was more than 2 or 3 ingredients, I wasn't interested. It had to be organic, whole ingredients. And once you fall out of that habit, it's so hard to get back into it. It's a really important one, especially in 2026 when if you look at the back of a food packet and there's 57 ingredients quite easily, and that's not even an exaggeration,
No.
just so much processed shit, and it's so terrible for us.
Yeah, just like reading everything, being like very conscious about what you're putting in and on your body. That habit for sure has helped a lot. I love the reading one too. I just like, I'm out of my reading habit right now. I found that when I was reading a lot, I was doing it by the pool when I was doing my like daily 30-minute pool session. But I think right now in this season of life, I've taken out the 30-minute pool session and put in like hour and a half bike ride because that's all I'm doing right now. But it's just, I guess that's kind of the ones. I mean, I found that something that feels really, really good for my, I wouldn't even just say physical health, but I'd say mental health is definitely time blocking. That's really helped, and cycle syncing for sure with the feminine cycle, which I know you don't deal with, but being able to sync up workouts, food, work with where I'm at in my cycle it's a lot of planning, but once I'm in the flow of it, it feels so good to connect to my physical health in that way. The time blocking feels really good for my mental health and like managing stress levels. Sometimes I fall back into a little bit of addiction with the to-do list addiction, but I'm a recovering to-do list addict. and and now I'm just trying to time block and keep everything going that way. But that I also find is super, super helpful to just be like, okay, what's the amount I can get done in a day and not to overload is helpful. But yeah. Oh, and
Yeah.
connecting with a loved one, I'd say too. That's the other one. Even if it's just a quick little text, just connect with a loved one.
Yeah, how, while you're on your travels, we've spoken about this before, but how do you do that? Because obviously I'm traveling at the moment. I've been away for a month now. I've struggled to keep in touch with loved ones. I've briefly kept in touch with friends here and there. In fact, other than you, I haven't really regularly spoken to anyone, and we haven't even spoken that regularly. My family, I've spoken to each of my family members once on the phone since I've been here. I found it difficult, and with the time difference, I guess it adds to that. But you experienced that time difference when you were traveling last year, especially. How do you deal with that? I guess just a simple text here and there.
I think I think I've mastered the art of maintaining and deepening my long distance relationships, and I think it's a skill that I've been working on for, I mean, basic as long as we've been friends, because our relationship has basically only been long distance. I think I've mastered the art of doing that with friends and family. And I feel like there are a couple different things. Number one, first and foremost, is that each relationship has its own systems that work for it. What you and I do to go back and forth and how we communicate is not going to work with me and another friend. Like our voice messaging might be different from my friends, where I'll text them once in a blue moon, or we'll get on a phone call once a year and catch up. Or if it's like friends I want to keep in touch more regularly, I typically keep a list of everyone I want to keep in touch with. And when I'm ovulating, so once a month, I just make sure to go through, and anyone who just comes to mind immediately, like once a day, I'll just either send them a quick voice message or text them or whatever. With my cousins on each side, I make sure that once a month I'm reaching out to each side and just being like, hey, this is the update about what's happening with you. I just build in that time, even if it's just like one little person a day or just like a little spurt, just to keep my relationships going. And it can be a different person every day, but it depends on where I'm at in my cycle. When I'm ovulating, I reach out to a lot more people, and I find that people are reaching out to me naturally way more too. But it's definitely just like being, number one, conscious of actually who do I want to keep in touch with and who do I want to make it a priority to keep in touch with, and setting a time for that. And it could just be something quick. It could be a text, it could be like a little call, it could be a little voice message, or like sending photos and videos goes a long way too. Where I have pals who are doing stuff this weekend and are like, oh my God, send photos. My girlfriend was at my favorite pizza place and just send me a picture. She's, I'm thinking about you. It goes such a long way to send a photo or a video, especially when you're not with your loved ones. And yeah, it's just been like that. But sometimes I'll send a package to somebody or a gift to somebody randomly. It just depends. But each relationship requires its own like tender loving care in the same way you would nurture a relationship with a romantic partner.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, it's interesting. I think it's a very hot topic with my family at the moment. In my habit tracker, and I don't know if this sounds terrible, so Vita found it so funny that I did this. On my second or third, yes, my second week here, so just before I went traveling, I was like, okay, they're not going to call me, so I need to make the active effort to call them. So on my habit tracker, I put the weekly goal that I wanted to speak to every single one of my family members that week. And Savita just found it really funny that I needed to put that on my habit tracker to speak to my own family. And
I
I
do it
did.
too.
But I called each and every one of them and had a good chat with each and every one of them. But I don't know, it has been difficult. Like I've sent them photos, sent them videos, just done little updates of what I've been up to here and there. But my family, except for Bella's a massive phone call person. Bella called me when I was desperately trying to sleep so I could be awake for this at half 12 this morning, half 12 last night. and my phone started ringing. I was like, I have to be up in less than 7 hours. But yeah, Bella always calls at the worst possible times. She has just, it's like she knows that I'm just going to sleep or that I'm out somewhere that I can't talk. Like I'm out at the opera and she'll call. But bless her, she's trying. She's trying.
She's calling.
Exactly. She's calling, which is more than I can say for my mum. And then my dad, he makes the effort here and there. But yeah, I found it difficult, especially with family members. And I have actually, with my friends, got a little bit. I found this trip quite interesting when it comes to my friendships in terms of people asking how it's going, people actually actively reaching out to me instead of me reaching out to them. It's been quite interesting to take a backseat and go, okay, which friend is actually interested, which friend that actually cares. And yeah, and we can talk about this later on, but I'm definitely seriously reassessing my social circles, which I think we have spoken about recently, but it's definitely something to think about. And one thing I'll say about you and your approach, obviously we've found something that works for us, which has actually even developed over the last year or two.
Yeah.
You know, it was voice messages hardcore, and now the voice messages have petered out a little bit. We still send voice messages here and there, but now this is our form of communication.
Yeah.
A large part, and we do still voice message, we do still text, but I would say most of our catching up these days comes on the podcast,
Yes,
which
it
is a
does.
real blessing. It was a real
Yeah.
blessing. What other friendships, or in my experience, I don't get much of an opportunity to have an hour long call with one of my friends almost every single week.
Yeah.
I think it's a really nice thing. Our friendship has developed in that regard, and we found something else that works for us in a different way.
Yeah, exactly. It's definitely evolved going from straight voice message to now it's like a combo pod, voice message, text. Voice message, all the juicy things that, sorry, listeners, you don't get, you don't get access to everything, but a good chunk is here.
I always feel so bad saying that, or when you say that, or when we both say that, because it's like there is so much that if we were to speak about it on the podcast, is pretty intense, pretty golden clip farming there.
Yeah, 100%. My therapist was like, those voice messages between you and Josh are like, would be hefty. But you know what? It's in the
Valuable.
vault.
Exactly. But I completely not forgot, but I guess in my head I was like, it's Sunday for you, but happy birthday, happy
Oh,
Indian birthday.
the Indian birthday. Thanks. Thanks. No, we're here. I guess yeah, because it is my birthday there then. Okay,
Yeah,
fun.
exactly. Yeah, I woke up and I saw it on my calendar. I was like, no, I'll wish it tomorrow. But then we're talking now, so why would I wait?
It's Sunday for me, but you know what? You're celebrating early for me.
Exactly. That's what best friends do for each other.
Exactly. Honestly, I'd be offended if you didn't celebrate. Do something fun for me today. I don't know
I,
what
I
you're gonna
will.
do.
I will absolutely. I'm going to get my eyes tested this morning, so that's something that I will do to honor you
Yeah.
before it's officially your birthday in the US. But yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thanks. What are you? I mean, not me being like thanks. So what's happening?
Yeah.
So what's happening with your other? Is it just friend shit or what's going on?
Yeah, friendship. I don't know if we discussed this recently about my feelings on my peer group, and the lack of communication has been definitely one thing that's triggered these thoughts for me. But I think not being inspired by my peer group has been a problem for me for a long time. I have
Mm.
struggled with that, and I've struggled with not knowing where I belong anymore. I think my current peer group served their purpose for me for a few years. I had fun with them. I experienced the 20s that I lost, the youth that I lost to gambling with them. But now I'm at a stage in my life, especially with my business growing the way it is, where I want to be around people who are better than me, who are bigger than me, who are smarter than me, who inspire me. And I just don't have that in my peer group at the moment. My peer group is all about fun and drinking. And I'm just not in that phase of life anymore. And we have spoken about that recently. One of my big things when I go back is to start hanging out with people who yeah, who push me and who, instead of, and I think this is a way that it's reared itself on this trip. I post every day on my Instagram and my TikTok, and I've had friends, some of my closest friends, I don't get supportive comments from them. I get literal comments on my posts that I have to delete because they're just taking the piss. And not taking the piss in a way that they're like, what an idiot. They're taking the piss in a way that is, I understand that they're taking the piss, and it's a stupid comment. I don't know how to describe it really, but there was one the other day. I made a video that was a little bit different to my usual style. It was like an inner monologue. I wasn't physically speaking, but it was like a video of me thinking and then my inner monologue. And I thought it was quite a good idea, and it did really well, it performed really well. And one of my closest friends, who obviously I won't name for liability purposes, he commented saying, so again, for context, the video was me staring off a balcony.
Oh, I
And then
remember
it was
this
just,
one. Yeah.
and it was like a voiceover of me, what was going through my head. And I'd filmed myself, but I think in some ways it looked like maybe someone was filming me. And he commented saying, "Hey, Sev, I have a great idea for a video, dot, dot, dot." And at first I didn't understand what he meant. And then I realized I've seen that comment a million times on Instagram of, it's usually when someone makes a weird or like stupid post, someone will go, "Hey, mum, I have a great idea for a video, help me film it." And that's what he was going for. And he commented that publicly. And literally that comment was taking the piss properly, and other people would see that. And I deleted the comment and I didn't say anything. And Savita kept saying that I need to say something because he's made a few comments similar to that now. And it's just a prime example of, I think, where I am when it comes to friendship. These are people who, instead of bigging me up, they're laughing at me. I've been out with, there's another group of friends who, when I just launched my page, I think I was like 5 or 6 videos in. One of my friends said, "Josh, you keep popping up on my Instagram." And I was like, "Oh, I'm doing something right then. That's exactly what I'm going for." And he was like, "Yeah, it is like pissing me off seeing your face every day." And he was joking. Like I didn't take that personally. But then one of my other friends interjected and was like, "Yeah, it's like really weird what you're posting." And then the same group a few weeks later loaded up. We were talking about my page and how it's going, and they actually were bigging me up. And then they loaded up my page and just started laughing because, and again, I didn't take it personally because every single one of my posts, the thumbnail is just my face. You scroll through and it's just various versions of my face.
Yeah.
And they found it really funny. But it didn't bother me. But I look back on it and I'm like, to me, I want a peer group who looks at my page and bigs me up. And they're like, "Oh my God, it's amazing that you've got thousands of followers, that you've had all these videos go viral," that just bigs me up and gives me
Yeah.
advice. If they think that I'm doing things a certain way that I shouldn't be, for example, with my thumbnails, instead of laughing at it, saying you should try this instead or try this style of content instead. And I've had really supportive comments from strangers giving me advice on that. But yeah, I think I need to find a peer group and figure that out when I get back, that is going to encourage me and push me to be better and give me advice instead of being mean. So I've been feeling this way for a long time about my peer group, trying to move away and find a more inspiring peer group, whether that comes from networking, I don't know. Honestly, my view is that I think I need to step more into my Jewish community. And there's many reasons for this. I don't know if you are aware of what's going on in the UK right now, but it's a dark, dark time to be a Jew in the UK, especially London. There's attacks on synagogues, there's attacks on Jews every single day at the moment. And we won't get into that. But I think it's very important as a result for the Jewish community to stick together and to be really close knit. And I've stepped more into my Jewish community over the last less than a year, since last September, which has been great. But I also think the Jewish community, especially in the UK, is very entrepreneurial, very business minded, very inspiring. If you ever think about my handful of Jewish friends in the UK right now, they all have a successful business. They're all directors of a business. They're all high up in finance. They're bigger and better than me. They're bigger, they're further ahead in their career, further ahead in business than I am right now. That's who I need to be surrounding myself with. And I have those friends, but I think I really need to lean more into that. So I think I have a solution in many ways, but it's just about executing it and how to execute it because, yeah, it's been bothering me for sure.
Honestly, I'm not really surprised that you feel like you're, I think, for lack of better terms, outgrowing friendships. I'm not surprised that you're outgrowing friendships because you're growing. Naturally, you're going to outgrow things when you're growing. And you're in a major growth period right now. We've been talking about it for the last couple of weeks, is that things are going so right now. Things are going really, really well. Areas in your wheel are going great. And you're growing tremendously and exponentially. And with growth comes outgrowing things. With growth comes growing pains. So I'm not even really surprised that you're waking up and being like, oh shit, if you are who you surround yourself with, I'm not really thrilled with who I'm surrounding myself with right now. And to be really intentional and thorough about that, because you are a reflection of what you surround yourself with, both people, things, ideas, everything. So, it's like you are what you love, you are what you associate with, and that's being intentional and strategic about that is important. And thinking about, yeah, who are the people who you want to be like. And I'd say sit down and really think about, especially while you're here and like in this really beautiful transitional time, moving back like with intention, what kind of friendships do you want to attract? And are you showing up as that person? And it's okay to just be like, maybe I'm outgrowing these relationships. And instead of going out that night, I'm going to stay in and work on my craft instead, or I'm going to stay in and work on myself, because sometimes the best company is your own, to like go internal and to work on yourself so that you can continue to promote that growth, as opposed to like really leak out your energy to other people who may not, and friends are, we've said it a million and one times, reason, season, or lifetime, right? So maybe it's just a season.
Yeah, that's it. I think that season was a lot of fun. And interestingly, the friend that I just spoke about, that has been arguably my best friend in the UK in recent years. He's just announced like a week ago to our group chat that he's moving out of London. So he's moving further south. He'll still be fairly close by. He'll be an hour's train away, but we will definitely see him less. And to me, again, I think it's almost a sign from the universe that things are moving along and transitioning. And yeah, but I actually, it's something I've been thinking about a lot on this trip. I've been thinking about my return a lot and what that's going to look like socially, business sense, work sense, in every sense, because I have to. And that's, I think, what a large part of this trip has been for, is thinking about that transition and that next step for me and how I can grow to that next step. You are absolutely right. And I think I have outgrown a lot of my circles, and that's fine. That's why I made the friends that I did, because I outgrew my previous life, which was addictions. Like, it wasn't hard to outgrow. It was very hard to outgrow, but I outgrew it. I made new friends as a result. That I've been making kind of mental lists, mental notes, and I was going to make a physical one, but I'm not sure if there's much benefit of that. I've done that before, and it didn't really do much for me, of who my inner circle should be. People who inspire me, people who I feel that are genuinely really inspiring, and the kind of person I want in my life, inspirational. They push me to be better. They encourage me. They give me that tough love. You, of course, were number one on that list. And then I've got maybe
Nice.
two other, maybe, yeah, of course. It
Thanks.
goes without saying, but no, yeah, no, absolutely. I think you're from that community that is inspiring like that, and we grew up in that environment. But for me, as I've said to you before, you really embody that whole thing. So yeah, you number one. I have maybe one or two other friends who I can immediately think of, and then I've got my Jewish friends, so that kind of adds another dimension to it. But yeah, there's definitely people that I can lean into our friendship more when I'm back in the UK and see where it goes. One thing that I've noticed on this trip, and it's been a hot topic between me and Savita over the last few days, and this is the only other thing that I think is worth discussing on my side, because otherwise I'm doing pretty well. Life is good.
Yeah.
But what I've noticed is that I feel very flat right now. I feel like I'm in a very good place spiritually, very good place in every aspect of my wheel, but very flat. So my wheel is very like well rounded right now, but it's all like sevens, sixes and sevens. And so I had to fight the urge to do but
To do the thing? Okay.
the thing, the six, sevens, yeah. It's Savita's influence, I swear. It's not even the kids. It's just Savita does it every single time. God, I've lost my train of thought now. Yeah, everything is six and sevens, and I feel like I'm operating at a very low frequency. And where that's shown up for me initially has been socially. So I've been going out a lot, meeting Savita's friends. We were out with her friends last night. We were out with her friends on Saturday night. And I'm just really struggling to get involved. I feel like I'm trying to start with and very quickly taking a back seat. And I don't feel like myself. I don't feel confident. I don't feel charismatic, which to me, I feel like I am. I am that person. Usually, and I said this to Vita last night, I am the life of the party. I am the one leading the conversation. I am the one that people are drawn towards. But I've really been struggling with that since being here. And I said to her, like, the reason I think it's bothering me so much is we all have off nights, but it seems to be every single time I go out with her friends, I'm having those off nights and I want to be making a good impression. I want to be making friends with her friends. And I'm just really finding it difficult to be the person to showcase who I truly am, to showcase my humor, my personality. There's definitely been a bit of a communication barrier in terms of the people that I've been speaking to, or her friends. I will say something, they won't understand it the first time, or the second time, or the third time. And then eventually they'll turn to her and ask what I said. English is pretty much their first language. So it's not that there's a language barrier, but I just think it's the way that I say things, the way that they say things, the accent. I don't know. It's been difficult. And I left the dinner that we went out for last night feeling really, really low, like really sad and very low frequency, very low vibration. I think for the last couple of weeks, I've been worried. I've been thinking, is this showing up in other areas of my life? Am I putting the bare minimum in other areas? And I feel very low motivation in many other areas, including my own business right now. But I think the conclusion I came to last night was it's not me, it's the environment I'm in right now. In terms of like socially, I'm not operating at a low frequency. There is just genuinely a communication barrier. And so I just need to stop being so harsh on myself and blaming myself for the way things are. But the problem is, like last night, I started off making an effort. I very quickly felt like my confidence was dented for some reason. And I just sat in the corner for the rest of the meal, pretty much completely silent. I felt really introverted. I felt very introverted.
Yeah.
And that's not me. I'm not an introvert. I have my moments of introversion, but I think when I'm out and when I need to perform socially, I do. So I don't really know how to counter it with her friends and how to deal with that. And it's worried me that when I go back, what if things are the same with my own friends and when I'm trying to make new friends that, on a higher frequency than me. But yeah, it's something to think about. But I'm hoping that it is just the communication barrier being in a foreign country, a foreign culture.
Yeah, I think the main key piece here that you said earlier is you need to stop being so hard on yourself about this, because we did talk about it a couple of weeks ago. You have an innate skill and ability to communicate and connect with anybody. And all it is for you is a switch. And we know you have that switch and we know that switch is in you. But for all the reasons you just mentioned, you're in another country, in another culture, you're exhausted, can be challenging sometimes. But you know what? At the same time, you're still showing up and showing face. And that's what counts with the people that you care about. And as far as worrying about how it's going to be later on, I mean, at the end of the day, you're readjusting your social circle anyway. So who fucking cares? I say just keep showing
Yeah.
face and keep showing up and just be okay with it.
No, you're absolutely right. But I think my concern with the adjusting my social circle is this is me around new people right now. This is me around new people, and I'm struggling, and I've been questioning for the last couple of weeks why I can't bring out that best version of myself right now, why I'm struggling to make conversation, why I'm struggling to hold conversation, to make jokes. I'm just not showcasing who I am over the last few weeks. And what's worried me is, if this is me now, is this going to translate to me when I try networking, try making new friends when I come back? And who knows? Who knows? But I think last night I've come to the conclusion that I'm hoping it probably is just a genuine communication barrier. And honestly, it may sound weird to you, but honestly, this conversation, in many ways, just us talking and the flow of the conversation, has given me a bit of hope and made me feel that just it's not me that's the problem. It is the environment, as well as me, as well as them. It's as everything. Because I think I'm showing right now that I can hold a conversation, that I can talk, that I can use my words. And actually, in a weird way, this podcast is so therapeutic in so many ways. And proving that I can talk to human beings is not one that I thought was going to happen in 2026, but here we are.
But you know what? Sometimes we just need to remind Josh of one of the things he's literally best at in this world, that he's actually good at it. Let's not forget the person who can talk to anyone, who can be friends with anyone, who calls people for a fucking living, and who talks online as a career, who, like, let's just remind you that you can do that. And you can just turn it on like a light switch. And you know what? It's okay if you feel like you're having an off day. That's okay, and that's normal. What's important is that the fact that you're still showing up, and you're still showing face, and you're still trying. And some days are just gonna feel a little weird and icky. But you know what? People will remember who you are, and the fact that you showed up and showed face, and like, whatever, who cares? Connection takes a while, so it's fine. It takes some time to build trust with people and connection. So even if you felt a little off, it's fine. You'll get them next time, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. I think there was one comment that hit me a little hard on Saturday night. I thought I gave probably the best show for myself that I have since I've been here. And we were out drinking. I've been drinking way too much. I was trying to keep up with them, and they were drinking insanely heavily, shot after shot after shot. And I'm gonna stop drinking probably for the rest of the trip now, at least, or as long as I can, because I didn't enjoy it genuinely, and I felt the alcohol shut me down. But as we were leaving, one of Savita's, it wasn't even her friend, it was like a friend of a friend, said, I feel like I feel like there's so much more to come from you. We need to hang out again because there's so much more to come from you. I can see the potential. And that felt like a really weirdly backhanded comment. It was a nice thing to say, in that he could see that I have more to me, but I understood, like, I didn't show my full self. I showed elements of my humor, but I was definitely not at the top of my game. Yeah, time will tell. Time will tell. But also, the conclusion I came to after that night is that I have it in my control. Yeah, I can switch that person on when I want to, and I did that last night. But then I made a very active effort to make that switch, but then it didn't last because I felt like I got knocked back. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's all good.
I think that's
It's all good.
okay.
But yeah, yeah, exactly. So how are you? I want to hear about your birthday plans. I want to hear about how the pitching is going. I want a full life update. Yeah, as long as it doesn't drop out. I can hear you and see you perfectly.
Okay, great. Then I'll just monologue for a bit. Life is great. I just filled out my wheel. It must have been like today or yesterday. And it's honestly, Josh, it's like sevens and up in every pretty much everything. There are some that are not, but just need some more tender loving care, which we can get into, but maybe we won't. We'll just see how time goes. But as far as plans go for the birthday, every time I have a birthday, there's a really good movie that comes out first weekend in May. So normally it's a Marvel movie, but this year it was Devil Wears Prada 2. So I saw Devil Wears Prada 2 last night with a guy I'm seeing, which I don't want to go into too much about him just because things are going so well, and I'll send you a voice message privately about that, but things are just so good, so I'm like not trying to chat about it that much. But we went out to see Devil Wears Prada 2, and then Tonight, I've just been like magic bike ride. I've been like magic bike riding every day. I think I said it's just, so I did that. And then I've been working all day. I took the week off and I'll get into it. But yeah, I took the week off tomorrow. So actual birthday up, gonna do the next wave of the pitch, which excited about. I have some more to do with that tonight, some more pitch stuff to do tonight. But tomorrow, the next wave of the pitch. And then it's the perfect trifecta: massage, nails, hair. And then after that, I'm going out for dinner with the guy I'm seeing. So there's been, I don't want to get into it on here, Josh, but there's been a lot of him. I like did some of the quick maths on how much I've seen him, and it's been a good amount. But yeah, we're going out for dinner tomorrow. And then Tuesday, I'm like working all day on podcast stuff, and don't want to get into it too much again right now, but putting in my notice on Tuesday, which is pretty nuts. I guess this is coming out after the fact, so I'm putting in my notice on Tuesday. Yeah. So birthday Monday, notice Tuesday. Wednesday, my 2 childhood best friends are coming in for a couple days. So they're coming in. We have a day. We're going out for a really nice dinner Wednesday. Thursday, we have a free day. We're going to do LA, like fun touristy stuff. We're renting like a convertible, so we're just going to have that kind of like vibe. And then it's also one of the 2 friends, it's his birthday today, so it's like combined birthday trip. And then we're gonna go to Joshua Tree and hang out, and then we're gonna do like surf lessons and just like hang out around LA, and then we'll come back here and do the last dinner, and then they're piecing out on Sunday. So it's like a full week. I took the week off from work and still like working. Like I signed into work for a couple hours before this just so I can take tomorrow completely off. But yeah, just like having a nice week of I'm still gonna be working a lot, especially today and Tuesday. But other than that, it's just like a lot of fun stuff, a lot of time with friends and loved ones, and just like really hanging out and enjoying and really thinking about this next year of life and setting some serious intention there. So that's the plan. Super, super excited about it. And then as far as other life stuff, pitch is going okay. Still like hitting it. Some interesting kind of things have come up. I guess I can kind of get into it. Like some other opportunities have randomly opened up. The person who manages the house where I'm staying, like the company that owns it, the person who is managing the house has just randomly quit. So I'm like, I kind of want to stay here and extend here. Can I? Do you guys need help in exchange for room and board? Like I would love to stay, and you guys need help, and property management is something I'd be interested in, especially if I want to own rental properties at some point. So I feel like that could be great experience too. And that would take care of a big chunk of some nerves. So I was like, oh, that's weird timing. Okay, I wasn't expecting to apply for something like that, but okay, like cool. And planning on reaching out to a lot of other companies as far as that goes. Physical health is feeling great. Friendships are feeling awesome right now. Family relationships are feeling awesome right now. Something I will mention that brings us back to the beginning of the episode. One thing that did remind me, that made me laugh, was I'm on team Josh with this, because I do set calling certain loved ones on my to-do list every Tuesday, every Friday. I call my grandma and it's on my to-do list every Tuesday, every Friday. Like I'm gonna put on my fucking Friday to-do list right now, call my grandma. Even if it's just 10 minutes, because 10 minutes in my life makes her life infinitely better. And I put it on my to-do list because it's like, if I don't, I forget it. So I'm with you there. Yeah, family relationships are going great. Spirituality is feeling great. Like I'm not quite like getting back into the meditating. That's the first thing I'm going to do after we get off this, is like meditate before I jump into more work. But just in general, I think there's something magic about these bike rides, and there's something magic about everything. Like I had some weird synchronicities with your sister coming to hang out the other day. I don't know if I told you about this. Did I tell you about this? No. Okay, some weird magic shit was happening, because I swear to God, I went on a magic bike ride, and I call it that because I go on the same bike ride every day. And even your sister did say to me, she's like, bike ride's magic, and it is. Oh my God. It's just, I can go into that feeling like some sort of anxiety or something, and I come out being like, oh my God, I feel amazing. It was an hour and a half of just me, the music, the ocean. It was just so good. And I always have great ideas on this bike ride. Like it's just great. And I came back and I was doing some research about wave 4, or the wave 4 of my pitch, which is basically me going and sitting outside the office of this network. And I found out the address for the network, and I looked and there was a restaurant below it. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. There's a restaurant there, cool. I'm sitting, and literally that same day, I go for my bike ride, come back, I'm sitting on my bed, I'm about to record, and I'm about to record a episode about a manifestation story, which is crazy because the last time I recorded with your sister, she told me your manifestation story. And I'm just sitting there, literally about to change, and your sister calls me and she's, what are you doing right now? Oh, we're about to record. Okay, cool. Do you want to hang out? We're 5 minutes away. Okay, sure, but you have to record a podcast with me. Okay, great, no problem. So they come over, and do you know what your fucking sister says to me, Josh? And she goes, oh, we're gonna go to this restaurant. It's called, and it's the same name as the restaurant where I'm gonna go. It's the same restaurant as the one
It was the same.
attached to the same restaurant, Josh. I'm like, you're kidding me. That's pure magic. That's pure magic. Out of everywhere they could have wanted to go, it's the same restaurant that I just looked up that I was gonna go camp out at.
Yeah, that's actually nuts. In the whole of LA, the one restaurant that it could have been.
Yeah, the one restaurant, a different location, but the same franchise.
Right.
And I was literally sitting on my bed about to record, and your sister calls me out of fucking nowhere. Like, just crazy magic shit keeps happening like this. And I'm like, okay, cool, signs from the universe, let's go. And just like crazy magic shit keeps happening like that. Yeah, romance is 10 out of 10 right now, but don't want to get too much into it publicly. Just like things are great right now. And I'm just going into this new year with a lot of intention, especially because yes, it's going to be a new year of life and a new season of life for me. And it's like a very big change, especially with me making this huge shift in my career. But I'm like very excited and I'm very scared, and both realities exist at the same time, and I'm ready to take a big jump and a big leap because I was realizing I'm like at the end of my 20s, and if I'm not going to do something right now, when am I going to do it? Like packing up my entire life and packing up my whole life and living out of a carry-on suitcase seemed really scary, but I did it. And leaving my home and my relationship was scary, but I did it. I'm at the end of my 20s, and like I've always wanted to focus on creative pursuits that are really passionate, or that I'm really passionate about, and I'm excited to do that. And I'm going to spend some time in some deep reflection tomorrow and really sit with what I'm dreaming up in this next season of life, and what I'm dreaming up in this just like moving forward, like longer term, like what do I want, and just getting ready for this next big jump. It's like a huge transitional time right now, and it's like there's magic in the air, and I'm fucking here for it. But it's crazy. It's like a wild fucking ride for sure.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think your birthday, in a weird way, you can't dictate when your birthday is, but I feel like it's kind of a perfect time. You're in this transition, you're in this really exciting period of life when things are, by the sounds of it, going really, really well and heading in the right direction, heading in the direction you want to. And then suddenly, right in the middle of this period, it's your birthday, and you have this opportunity to transition into a new year when the previous year there was such extreme growth because you were traveling, and taking it to another level, and basically taking all of that growth from the last year into another period of growth that is going to take you and your life and your finances and career and everything to a whole other level. So it's incredibly exciting, and I just love the timing of everything. I love the timing of everything for you in terms of all the signs from the universe, in terms of where you are going into this new year. I think it's so cool, so exciting. And honestly, I don't know how excited you are about it, if you downplayed it a little bit, but to me, what's happening with your accommodation there potentially, the timing of that to me, that feels really weird. Like the fact that you are stepping into a chapter where you're not going to be full-time employed, you're not going to have that full-time income, and not immediately anyway, to suddenly have the potential opportunity to work for your board and not have to have that overhead to worry about. To me, that just sounds like divine timing. I think that is so cool.
So we'll see what happens there. Honestly, even in the group chat right now, it's blowing up. People being like, this was supposed to be that person's job, but the person who's now like taking over is in Puerto Rico. Like they can't be here taking care of the accommodations. You know, like they're not unboxing the packages and helping with that stuff. This person just up and left, and things are falling apart at these houses. And I'm like, hi.
From Sasha.
hi, I want to help. Granted, we'll see timing wise, right? I'm sure we'll have to see it because I'm still going to be away for at least like a month, month and a half. But the timing of it would be incredible if it worked out perfectly like that. So we'll see. I'm not sure about the divine timing of it all. There's always birthday magic in the air. Shit always happens. And I'm just like here for the ride. And all I can do is just put the energy out there of like really what I'm pouring into. Sasha's Barbie dream life is still there in the vision, and it's still there. And I'm still going towards it. And that's what it feels like right now as far as taking this leap goes career-wise is, you know what, I'm committed to making Sasha's Barbie dream life happen. And whatever way that's going to take me is whatever way that's going to take me. I just have to jump, and I have to jump and skydive into this next stage of life, but you can't open your parachute while you're inside the plane because then you die. You got to jump out of the plane first and flail around a little bit and then let the parachute open so that you can glide down and enjoy the bliss. But right now I open that door and I'm looking out and I'm like, whoo, that's a little scary. That's a long way down.
I
I
love
can go
that.
splat. Yeah, but I got to jump.
That's it. That's it. I love that metaphor. And to add to that, as you're falling out of the plane, as you're falling through the sky, and if you've got this beautiful view, you've got this rush of adrenaline, the longer you leave it before you release that parachute, the more thrilling, the more exciting it is.
Yeah, it's true. 100%.
I've never been
It's,
skydiving, but that's my impression. And then I guess if you leave it too late, then you die. So you have to mitigate the risk. But
I'm just like saying that the universe is my parachute. So I'm just jumping out of the plane and knowing that the universe is going to catch me. And it seems really scary. Like the jump seems really scary, but it's ultimate bliss. And I know that. I know that from my experience of doing it. I feel like I've known that from just life in general. Is you got to take the leap and surrender to the experience and got to do the thing. And this is my next skydive. And I'm really excited about this next season of life. It was funny because I was telling my mom, I was like, I feel like I just walked into my life coming here into this season. Like, I feel like I just walked into it with where I am in my physical environment and my health and in my everything. And just, I feel like I'm just stepping into this new life and I'm loving it. Like San Diego felt very transitional, but this feels, oh my God, like this feels like it's it. And feeling like just coming into my own like bubble, and it feels really good to be in it. And I'm just really excited and just all of it, and just wanting to sit down and really have set a lot of intention, but celebrate. That's where I'm at right now.
yeah,
And there's still
no,
some. I'd say
absolutely.
like the
Okay.
one thing I'm challenged with is like more financially, because I just need to sit down and look at all the numbers as far as this next season of life and how I want to structure it. But also I have like a month to sort it out and things are still falling into place.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah. It sounds like you've got it under control, and I think for something like this, there has to be a large element of planning. Yes, you can jump out of a plane and what's the saying? Throw a bunch of shit at a wall and see what sticks. But there has to be a large element of planning, and I think you have thought this through. You are aware of where you are and what you're doing here and what that looks like financially. And I'm glad. You're a smart person. I have full faith in you, and I firmly, as I've said time and time again, even for months, when we spoke last week, most recently, said that I firmly believe this is the right thing. And I think it's incredibly exciting, and I see the different side of things, and I think it's going to be a journey. It's going to be a ride, but it's, I think, absolutely the right thing to do. And I was literally thinking about it yesterday. I was talking to Savita about you handing in your notice, and yeah, because we spoke, I guess, last Monday or like towards the end of last week, and you told me that you were
Yeah.
planning on handing in your notice at the end of the following week, or sorry, that you were handing in your notice next week, which I guess is this week now. I was thinking, oh, she must have handed it in by now, but then yeah, I guess that makes it this week. Yeah, really exciting. Let me know how it goes down as well. Do you think they're expecting it?
No, I don't think they have any idea. So I don't mean to blindside them, but I think I'm going to give a little bit of a heads up and just be like, yo, I want to chat about it. But I need to sit down and actually prep through what I want to say and prep through the different options I want to give, because there are some ideas I'm sitting with and floating with right now, and about how I still want to be involved and making the transition as smooth as possible, because I still love this company. And I love this team, and I care so deeply about what it is and where it's going, and I want to make the transition as smooth as possible, and I also still want to be involved. And there's some other kind of decisions and other things I'm thinking about on the back end with them that I think could be really, really exciting. But like sitting down and having that conversation, but I don't think they're expecting it all. But I think it's time. And honestly, I was feeling sad. Like I told my work friends at the end of last week that I was leaving, and it like made me sad. I'm like, man, I am really sad to be leaving. I really love this team and I really love this company, but it's time. It's time for me to spread my wings and fly and do something different. But that's not to say that I still don't want to be involved with this company, and I still plan on being involved with this company, just in a different capacity, or at least that's the hope. So that's where I'm at with everything. But yeah, I don't know. I'm excited, but I'm also scared, and also just I feel all of it, and it's just honestly right now like amazing, but it's definitely a lot at once for sure.
I'm sure, and it's always difficult leaving a company, especially when you've been there for quite a long time. You're a part of a team, you know the people, you love the people, it becomes like family. But even with companies that I've never built that real connection, like my most recent job, I was only there for 9, 10 months. I didn't really connect with people on the level that I had at previous jobs, but it feels really sad leaving. You feel like you're in a way letting them down. I felt that way with leaving this job. And for me in previous jobs, I've kept in touch with people, but there's a lot of people who I did build connections with that I'm like, I'm probably never going to talk to you again. And that's a sad thing. In a way, that's one of the most difficult things to let go, is the people of the company. Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of different emotions coming out, but it's definitely the right time, the right thing to do.
Yeah, why not? Let's just shake some shit up. Why not?
Exactly.
There's only one life to do it. Let's just shake some shit up and let's fuck around and find out. See what happens.
Fuck around and find out. There you go. It's probably the opposite of the way that phrase is meant to be used, but it makes complete sense. Fuck around and find out. If you don't fuck around and find out, then you won't find out.
Right. Exactly. Let's do something bold and a little. Let's just step outside of our comfort zone, and that's where growth happens, right? And this feels really on the outside of my comfort zone, so let's do it. Let's go.
No, definitely. I'm very excited to see where this goes.
Me too. All right, y'all. So tune in next week to hear how it goes. And thanks so much for listening to Mastermind Moments. We'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.
We hope you enjoyed this episode.
Don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review, and follow along on social media.
If you would like us to help you mastermind something in your life, please send us a message.
We'll see you next week on the Mastermind Moments podcast.